I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. We use our technical analysis and nonsense years in football to give you a different insight and not all that fan dramery rant channel stuff. And hopefully you can take something away, a lesson, and learn from all the mistakes in football that I've done, and now I know better. And Nuno's come in to help West Ham. Now, I really want to spend a little more time looking at West Ham as a club this season, because I fear for West Ham. And if I'm right, these are all empty seats here. All this up here is empty seats. And I've heard, and I can't confirm this or not, that something like 20,000 West Ham fans, or like mostly season ticket holders, have walked away from West Ham. I was always a big fan of West Ham. It was one of the best. I was going to say Jimmy Carr, but he's a comedian. Tony Carr, a coach, put out a coaching book years and years ago that I used as my blueprint manual when I was first learning to coach 25 years ago. God, I'm getting old. And it was brilliant. And they used to have a great academy. They used to have this sort of, I'll save it for one of my live streams about, because I met a bunch of those guys when I was working over in China for another Premier League football club that we won't mention, because every time I do, I get in trouble. The West Ham way through their academy, and the certain things that they were doing to actually help their players get through into the first team, which you don't really see much anymore. But of course, Nuno's coming into the club trying to basically recreate the same thing as David Moyes is doing after they hounded out David Moyes for getting them a European trophy. And yeah. There's so many weird things that happen in football nowadays. Sometimes you just stick with what you got and you're trying to build to a new future, and you don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it seems that is the way in the Premier League. But I want to show you a couple of things here, because it's hard, obviously, to let me play the highlights through, getting in trouble for that. But I want to show you, you've got to throw in, right? And you can see, obviously, there's a player there. You've got one player, right? This is basics of football. You cannot have this one player going pressuring anything, because as soon as he goes to him, he just passes to the thrower. And you can see they're setting up for maybe a long throw or delivery. So you really can't do anything on your own there. You're really isolated. And the fact, this should be a goal, because as we can see, someone's got their arm up in the Premier League telling someone what to do. So normally my rule is in the next 5 seconds, someone scores a goal. Hasn't happened this weekend, I don't think. For the first time this weekend, yeah, I don't think it's happened so far. But when this ball is thrown, you can see he's 2v1. But there's a problem, right? Normally, you'd be defending the space in behind. But you can't really worry about the space in behind, because if he has no pressure on the ball, he's just going to deliver it. So you have to go to the ball. But if you go to the ball, he's just going to pass it. So you're in a lose-lose situation, and you don't have any teammates, anyone near helping you, which to me is just awful. You cannot have 1, 2, 3 Brentford players outside of the box like this, and not at least 2 players, because if you're pressure, there's no cover. He's got no one to help him. So it's obvious they're going to pass the ball around him. The fact that the manager's watching this and lets them get away with this. Now, I'm bringing this up for a reason, because I'm going to show you something in a minute. It's the exact same problem. Obviously, he has time to bring the ball down and just lay the pass off. Well, what's this lad supposed to do? He couldn't go to pressure there because he would have laid it off first time. He can't really go, you're setting yourself up for failure. The ball ends up coming in from wide. Look at how many players on the black post for Brentford, and absolutely no West Ham players picking up anybody here, and Brentford should have been 1-0 up. Again, does anyone spot the scenario, which was exactly the same a minute ago? 1, 2, but this time we don't have a player from West Ham anywhere near the ball. Look, we've got 4 players completely lost. No one's doing anything. No one's marking anyone. No one's in shape. No one's pressuring the ball. That is pretty impressive, to have 4 players completely taken out of the game and no one doing anything. It's quite impressive. It really is. And you move it forward just ever so slightly. Now you've got 2 players out of the 4 going in the same place to cover the same zone, and 2 players here, neither of which are pressuring the ball. And guess what? The ball comes in again. Way, what a surprise. It's like you can see this happening from a throw-in 10 minutes ago, and you can see that this problem is currently happening with your team and your formation, and you're not doing anything about it. And Brentford should have scored again. Keeper gets there, saves them, but you can see that this is building. It's the same problems that's happening. Normally when that's going on, you've got problems with your shape, and that means nobody can get out to the ball properly because they don't know what they're doing. Now, I know it's probably Nuno's first game, but let's be fair. this is simple. This is simple basics. This isn't complicated. When we're dynamic, doing dynamic overlaps on a micro transition that we're trying to feed player A to B, then to release the wide player. No, this is just simple. Are we standing in the right places to stop them crossing in the ball from throw-ins in wide areas? Nope, no one is. So this is where the goal comes from. Well, the first goal anyway. But just have a little look. There's your midfield line. There's your back four. What's going on? Clearly, there's no pressure on the ball. This guy just passed the ball in. He did a little spinny turn, and he's playing the ball in behind. It's simple and it's easy, and there is no sort of structure to West Ham what's going on at all. Like, everyone's too far forward or too far back, and they've opened up so many pockets of space. Look, massive pocket of space here, massive pocket of space here. And then all you've got to try to do is defend a long ball, which apparently defenders can't do in the Premier League anymore. And there's a massive reason for that. If you're new to this channel, you haven't heard me before, I've worked so much in football through the academies and through all sorts of different stuff. They don't teach this stuff in academy to deal with long balls, right? So if you really wanted to win the Premier League, all you'd have to do was have solid defence and play like Stoke City, whack the ball up top, and they wouldn't be able to have two big burly strikers, and you'd get goal after goal, because the centre-backs don't know how to deal with these balls anymore, because they don't deal with it growing up like they used to through the ranks, and then they'd find their way to play football a different way. It doesn't really happen anymore. And straight from the long ball, it's just really a little bit of a bouncy ball. He can't control it. None of these defenders are close enough to deal with him, which is shocking, let's be honest. Defending long balls is one of the easiest things to do if you're a defender, right? By the way, it's not easy. It's just one of the easier things to do, because you're facing, you can see the ball as it's coming towards you. Well, the striker's facing that way. He wants to run onto it. So you can see it the whole time. You're running backwards. You're dealing with it. You're making sure the striker doesn't get away from you. You've got two things to look at, the ball and the player. You can deal with both of them. Neither is getting dealt with in this situation. The ball and the players are all completely and utterly free. The West Ham players are just on a jaunt, running around, chasing. Now, he's in the 18-yard box. He gets time to bring the ball down and lay it off. Completely, there's no one close to challenging at all for this ball. From the moment it's played to the moment it's in the back of the net, the only person that touches it is the West Ham goalkeeper. There is no one close enough to make a challenge. So then, why aren't they close enough? Is it because Nuno's not set his team up properly yet? Is it because the West Ham defence is actually shocking this season? What's really going on here? And that's why I want to have a little bit more time looking at these are empty seats, aren't they? Oh my goodness. Looking at the West Ham team this season, so I can actually get it a little bit more precise and on the nose of why they are so bad right now at the back. And at the point of the shot, you look at the goalkeeper. It's kind of comical. Bounces, goes off, overrun it, and it just dribbles into the net. It's a sloppy goal to concede, but it all comes from just the amount of space and open space West Ham are opening in that midfield and letting Brentford just carve them open with a simple long ball. And it's not the last time they'll do it in this game either. Oh my God, of course it happened. I spoke too soon. Someone's got their arm up telling someone what to do. So we know in the next 5 seconds there's going to be a goal in the Premier League. Do your job. If you don't know what that's about, stick around on my live chats on Monday Night Football, where I explain things like that in detail. Or you can find it in some of my old videos. But yeah, it's a thing. It happens all the time. But also look at the space between these two here. No one's close enough to mark here. Look at that. No one's close enough. There's just acres and acres of space. You've got to get closer. You've got to get tighter. You cannot have that. No pressure on the ball, and you'd be miles away from the striker. I don't know how he's managed to sneak in on the inside there and get away from his marker over there. That's just awful. So this is just another lumped up ball. Go deal with that. Off you go. We're just going to whack it up into the air and see what happens. Now, this is the key problem when your shape's wrong, right? You've got your back four. Your defenders are doing a good job there winning the ball. Where's your midfielder? He should be right here. He's nowhere near it. There's no one near here to win the second ball. So a lot of the times when you play these long balls up front, or you just knock the ball forward, it isn't necessarily about trying to win the flick on and go down. It's winning that second ball in this area here. And the reason why people don't do it anymore is because you'd have a quality centre midfielder who'd be sitting in front of the back two here and would always be able just to pick up that ball and then play the ball as a counter attack or do anything with it. If you don't have a player, a midfielder that's going to come and sit, and you've got this massive gap here, when you play that ball forward and that little knockdown happens, all of a sudden, you're in trouble. Massive trouble. And the effort that you didn't put in to get back with your back four now is exposed, and that ball goes straight through, and it's a finish. It's that quick. It's so easy. It's like, it's one of those things where, so you're playing your percentages. If you're knocking that ball forward, it's a 50% chance my striker gets it, 50% chance the defender gets it. Well, actually, it's not. It's 70% chance the defender gets it, 30% chance your striker gets it. Where does the ball end up then for the second ball? Okay, does it end up in this little channel? Can my players get around it? So you'll find normally you used to have one player goes up, the other striker would drop off and try and win that second ball, and then they try to play the guy in. It's just old football from, that's all it is. And it's so still effective if you don't have your defensive midfielder or a proper midfielder back here understanding this, and these defenders, when they clear the ball, someone is there to pick up the scraps of the second ball. I mean, it's easy. It's not complicated what I'm saying. It is really, really easy. You can't afford your players to run forward. You're having your three, your little triangle, your uno, 1, 2, 3, in your little triangle, whichever side the ball comes on the field. So if it's on this side, that's what you're doing. If it's over here, your central midfielder will track, and he'll be over here with the 2 centre backs over there to do the job. There's nothing. There's nothing. Oh my God, look, there's even more empty seats at West Ham. I need to know about that. If you guys know anything about that, let me know in the chat below, the comments. I'm not doing that. Now, here's the other thing that happens. He is offside, but this is the other thing that happens in football, especially in football coaching. It's like, even though that we've done everything wrong, we didn't get punished because he was offside. So we don't worry about that, and then we carry on with our game and completely ignore that that's a huge, major problem. We'll see if it's there next week. We'll see if Nuno can fix it, because I'm sure he will. Guess what? We've got another long ball from the goalkeeper. It's like they've been doing this all game, and we know what's going to happen. So again, this is identifying a problem, which you've got, right? So look at this problem. You've got 1, 2. You've got 1, 2. They've clearly overloaded this side, put a ball in, he's pulling the defender out of the way, and the ball's going to break over there. What you do here now is key, okay? Because he's been taken out of the game. Hasn't defended the long ball properly. Now you're in trouble. You can see 2 things are a problem, right? Well, actually 3, technically. You've got the space, which is 1, the ball that's 2, this guy that's 3, okay? What can you deal with? Think about it for a second. What can you deal with? Do you go with 1, 2, or 3? Well, let me help you out. You go to 1 and 2. Because there's 2 problems there. There's only 1 problem there. That's somebody else's problem. They can deal with that because there's loads of players over in space over there. The ball and the space are dangerous. This player's not. You can't. You've got to help your teammate. He actively runs away from the space. Did you see that? He actively starts running back towards his goal. He was there. Now he's running away. So he can't shut this corner down. He can't shut the space down, and he can't defend the ball. He needs to be flying down here and cutting that angle off and helping his teammate. That's what he needs to be doing, and he's not. He's just stood there and he's watching. Again, look at his body shape, look at his body position. Shoulders are here. He's facing that way. He's actively running away from the football. Here's the football, mate. Go get that. That's the important thing. When he made that little touch and beat the player there, if he had sprinted over here to help his teammate, that's where he would have made the tackle and put it out for a corner, or maybe even just simply won the ball. Didn't. He was froze. He hasn't really moved much from there, only to go to there. Meanwhile, these 2 were here, and they managed to sprint all the way down to there. That's the difference in movement, okay? None. Absolutely none from him. Now we've got a midfielder who's come all the way back in to try to cut the pass out. But remember, he wasn't even in the picture. He was miles and miles away. The only one that could have dealt with it was that. And if he had dealt with it, and you got a quality team, the midfielder then is tucking in and doing your job because you're pressuring the ball. And the midfielder understands, well, I don't need to do that. I can just cover for you. Of course, the midfielder can't because he was too far away in the starting position and starting all of that play. Had no business trying to win the ball. Tried his best anyway. Well done, young man. Here's clown shoes, though. He hasn't done anything except for watch the ball go past and this guy control it and then smash it into the net box. Yeah, that's pretty shocking, really. Don't know what else is going on here. I don't know what that is. Bit of a foul going on there. But easily takes his time. Puts it into the net box. West Ham lose 2-0. Oh, my God. Look at the empty seats up here as well. Oh, my goodness. I need to learn more about that. Put it in the comments below if you know. And I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.